And so it is a pleasure, however, for me to be here with you. The nature of this presentation is a combination of a presentation and practical application. I'm a very practical practitioner, and so I understand that strategic workforce planning for a lot of folks may not be so clear. So the level that I'm going to be presenting to, if you will be for, as much as possible, at the mid-level range. So I'm going to discuss some subjects surrounding strategic workforce planning. In essence, what I'm going to be providing you is a series of tools and a practical approach to strategic workforce planning. So what we're going to be doing first, given that we're presenting at the mid-level, I want to first define what do we mean by strategic workforce planning. Okay? And then in a minute or two, I'm going to ask you all, where are you at in your strategic workforce planning journey? Because we're across the whole spectrum here. We are. The next thing I just want to touch on is building the business case. How do we sell strategic workforce planning to our executives and our key decision makers? And really, this is often a big issue because we may have seen the light, we may have the vision, but not all of our executives understand the business case. Because there is an investment, as you can anticipate, in something of this nature. Okay. And then I'd like to really talk about each of the steps of the strategic workforce planning process, beginning with identifying critical roles. And what does that mean? Okay. And so we'll have a chance, interspersed in this presentation, if you will, to practice a little bit, to do some reflective exercises, to have you all think about how clear are we about our strategy? How clear are we about our critical roles, and what does that mean? And then also, have we ever done an environmental scan? I'll give you some chance to really think about that. I'll go through each one of these steps. Okay? And then from there, we're going to take a quick look at conducting a workforce talent gap analysis. And I'm going to present to you some research data. There's been a lot of research on strategic workforce planning. The most recent research that I've seen is from the Human Capital Institute. I worked with them for years. And they just released a paper called Strategic Workforce Planning 2020. And they talk about the degree in which organizations are actually perceive themselves as being effective or not. Let's start with the definition of strategic workforce planning. Okay, it is in fact a systematic and it is a strategic process. Underscore the word strategic, okay? That designs an organization's future workforce by determining, okay, what are the future workforce needs based on the current trends and the challenges that it might present in terms of achieving your organizational goals. That's a very academic definition. Okay. It's about identifying opportunities in the current time and space, and then comparing it to your strategy, your business strategy, and then identifying what may be some problem, some challenge areas, some potential talent gaps. And then finding talent solutions to start to close those gaps, what I call address the talent priorities. The benefits of strategic workforce planning. Okay. Strategic workforce planning runs in parallel with your business strategic planning process, generally 2 to 3 years. The differentiator between strategic workforce planning and operational workforce planning, one of them, is that it is anchored on the enterprise strategy. It is not anchored on a functional strategy, not anchored on a department strategy. So if we've created staff forecasts, for instance, or headcount replacement plans for finance, for IT, for sales, that would be considered more operational. Here, we're actually zooming back and looking at the enterprise strategy and asking, where is this organization going? And across the entire enterprise, what are the critical roles that we need to pay attention to, given the strategy? So it's at a strategic level. Okay. The second benefit is that as you are conducting the strategic workforce planning process, the output of that is a strategic workforce plan. It's not just a staffing forecast. Okay? It's not just a skill gap plan. It's a comprehensive people strategy plan, which involves, right, all of the major talent practice areas. In fact, I'm showing you in a minute, that the strategic workforce plan is the foundation for your talent management strategy, your people strategy. And the talent management, this one here, the talent optimization lifecycle, is essentially an enhanced version of something that many of us are familiar with, and that's the talent lifecycle. How many of us have heard of the employee lifecycle? I think we all have, right? Employee life. This is just an expanded, enhanced version. So let's walk through this and sort of show, I'm going to show you philosophically, from a strategic perspective, the thinking, okay, and where strategic workforce planning sits within talent management. See, strategic workforce planning is one of several critical talent practice areas within talent management. Okay, so always we start with our organizational strategy. In HR, you know, that's what we do. We anchor everything that we do on the business's strategy. It's no different here. Okay. The workforce plan is an attempt to identify factors that exist today based on the strategy, okay, and looking at possible future states to identify talent capacity or capability gaps. Okay. In effect, the strategic workforce plan is the foundation for your talent management strategy, as I mentioned earlier. Okay. If you look inside that circle there, you'll notice that going out and then moving in, the green, are some other critical talent practice areas. Yeah, talent acquisition, right, recruiting, sourcing, employer branding. You have talent development, you have talent pipelining, career pathing. And then notice inside is something that our other speaker was just talking about, which was in part culture, in part engagement, is the employee experience. So engagement is really about the EVP. Okay? The employee experience is synonymous with the EVP. It's what the employee experience is, okay? It's a holistic experience. It touches every part of our talent management strategy. Inside, you'll see competencies and you'll see analytics. Competencies is the language, the common language that ties all of talent management together. Without competencies, there's no way for us to be able to project, either to assess current talent needs or to project future talent needs. Okay. So if we don't have competencies yet, or you're working on them perhaps, that would be an absolute, maybe a next step. Just a thought there. Analytics threads through talent management. Okay. The objective